Facebook, and right now let's put this to Instagram. And I told you about hashtag, about the prizes, and somebody will become happy owner of happy and winner and heir, but we move on, and we will have a person who prepared a very interesting topic, and we invite Svetlana Razina, Ukraine, to the stage, curator of the company at CIS countries. Please welcome. Louder, louder. APL, more than business. Thanks a lot. Well, it's really hot here. Oh, well, for me it's much harder to talk after the president, number one, and secondly, because I do not have any good news for you, unfortunately. The people I worked with for last year, they know this. Normally I do not bring good news, but I will try to make my speech interesting. That's what I will try my best. So, thanks again to the guys. Let's applaud. And being a person, as a person who is dealing with working at the stage, I imagine how cool they felt. But if I may, guys, today I will remember you several more times. Can I? Okay, thank you very much. So, my talk is called Leader DNA, because I never worked in this industry, not for a single day. I live this. I believe it's very honest business. I'm terribly, terribly in love with people who are connected to this business.
So actually throughout my life I have been working with sales, and I work with trainings and different programs, and I think that sales is a great thing and I really like that. But what about the problem when I think that our children grow up and try to sell different things, for example, credit or things. I've been within the sales sphere for 15 years, so it's very important for you to understand what you really want to do in your life. Just identify your passion. There are a lot of different priorities, and well, some people like to work with different goals. Will sometimes like to make speeches and to talk in front of people. But we need to open the box of Pandora and to think about our DNA. So what about people here? Do you know what DNA is all about? Just raise your hands if you know what it's all about. Then I have a question for you. So, as for the leaders, are we born to be leaders, or actually do we become leaders later on in our life? Raise your hands if you think that we are born to be leaders. And if we become leaders in our life, well, that is great. In fact, some people, they have this kind of trend, and they can actually become leaders. But it's not always the case. Ladies and gentlemen, you have to understand. Yes, we have female business, and we also have men here. But please raise your hands, men, if you are here in this business. This is quite a classic story with MLM business. Dear women, raise your hands if you are there in this business. So when women start to earn some money and men with a certain amount of crowd, they actually joined women. But let's go back to our DNA. It's true that we get our intelligence from our mothers, but as for our sense of humor, we get it from our fathers. And that is why it's really important to think about men around us, those with us. I think that as for networking and MLM business, We should definitely work on that, and we should actually work within this domain. And even if we don't have such people in front of us, still we should definitely think about ways to interact with them. We have a lot of things that can be acquired not just from school or from university, etc., but not just even from your parents. This is something that you can get from the situation here, from our today's event. So you just had this kind of video on the screen, and I hope that, and I think that 80% of the audience actually took pictures of the things that were happening here. But I should say that 40% of your partners, they will open this information that you recorded for your own self. 35 of them save that. And actually, it's up to you to decide and to shape the percentage of people who will be there to participate in your life. And throughout the last half an hour, we all together with you, I should say that it's up to you to decide whether you are a leader or not. Leadership starts with today, and just around your skills, your energy. That's how your success moves around, how it develops. I can see it right now. So the world has changed dramatically, and when I started to work, and I started to work as a coach, well, I should say that I worked with quite a different number of people, and people were absolutely different. And it was not quite possible to organize trainings after lunch times. And people, they were quite demotivated. Right now, if you really ask yourself, and if you think about training procedure, how it should be organized, what it's all about, we no longer want it. People don't want to hear us. And in most cases, we work online. We can see that, yes, we wanted to conquer the world, but before we actually do that, we will have to spend a lot of time to reach a certain result. So it's better to communicate with your team in a more frequent manner. So right now I have just 30 minutes to talk about leadership. And the second point, people no longer believe in theoretical knowledge. If in your work you don't actually do what you talk about, it no longer works. People no longer believe in that. For example, if we had right now an opportunity to look into each other's eyes and to discuss different things. So if you really wanted to think about the products that you are about to sell, you are dreaming about millions of rubles, but is it really possible to make dreams about that? To think about this galaxy if you don't really have a product and you don't know how to advertise that? Just raise your hands, those who want to live up to the age of 100 years. Raise your hands. Oh, yes, I can see so many people actually wanted to live in up to 100 years. And what about those people? I mean, those who raised their hands. And what about your diaries? Do you have a list of things that you would like to do within a period of 3 years? Yes, so you don't have such a plan, but do you really want to live up to the age of 100 years? Who actually want to live up to this threshold and to be there? And if you really want to this business and you're actually enjoying things that you're doing right now, and if you really like that, just start with some small steps. But people sitting here right now, they just believe me, they don't actually know what they want to do about their life. And 7 years ago, probably they had some ideas and some plans regarding their existence. But I should say that leadership is not always a very good thing. Not always a very joyful, a very good thing. It's not just a holiday. It takes a lot of efforts to be there, to be a leader. And of course, it takes a lot of emotions to work with this approach and to work with your strategy, etc. We really need some knowledge, but at the same time, we also need to think about immunity. We understand that even though that we have certain problems and the world right now is quite close, we have a problem with the borders, etc. A lot of companies, they really want to unite people. They want to make a real difference and to, even though that we have to stay at home, still we want to work in close cooperation with each other. When you have a lot of partners, a lot of friends, if you really have them, then you can really make a difference. So those people who actually met some new people there over the past 2 days, 10 people, for example, you have met some people, just raise your hands if it is the case. Well, it's very important to make friends. Just talk to other people. Say, for example, how is it going? What about your business? What are you doing? And we are not actually using those opportunities that we have, even though that all those opportunities, they are there with us, and we can do that. When I talk about all those opportunities, even though that I have been in MLM for just 20 years, but still I understand that that is a great opportunity. This is something that really changed my life. And to me, this kind of event, this is a super format, and I can see different people, and I think that they are ready to make a difference, and they're ready to work with different formats. So do this, go for that, and organize meetings. We are interested that right now people, they visit Instagram and Facebook. Why do they do that? In order to see the life of other people. And we always have a choice. We always depend on a choice. When we do that, sometimes we think, what about me? What about my experience? Was I that successful or not? And all the people on Instagram, they're so much successful, etc. It happens, yes, from time to time. Just give me a sign. Yes, it happens from time to time. And there are some other people, they don't really care. Okay, I can see other people's experience, but I would like to share my news as well. For example, a car that was presented to me by my husband, etc. We are very much dependable on the situation that we have in our lives. But how do we treat that? Yes, the world has changed. How does that work? Right now, people, first and foremost, they live in a completely hybrid world. We no longer have a segregation between online and offline, and we have to mix those two things. And we have to change ourselves in order to be really flexible. We have to be ready for everything. Online, of course, offline is offline. Two different things, and right now we shouldn't talk about the markets and how it actually worked. You know how he actually did it in his song. Let the markets be flexible for our condition. It's not always the case, and the faster you start shape the market conditions, and the faster you actually take an active position, the better it will be for you. We need to actually develop and to be really modern. People now, they actually choose business, and they decide what to do based on values that we have. Well, you know that yes, we all have our souls, and every business has its own brand. And if you don't actually feel how you are connected with APL, if you don't actually send those messages to people around, well, I would like to send hello to our German company, and well, we can see those people are incredible. A German company, I love them. I love them. They came here and they made it here to our today's event. That is incredible. Thank you very much. Please take your seats. So you are brands of your own business, and if you want to be dressed in the pajamas, in some clothes of this kind, well, that is okay. And if you really wanted to come up to the stage and ask yourself, do I really want to be a part of the image that I can see right now? Well, really, people, they will be appreciating you even better. So ask yourself this question. So what about my reflection in the mirror? What about people around me? Are they ready to take on more risks? As for coronavirus and this fantastic disease that actually triggers a lot of questions, we felt this kind of solitude. So the point is that yes, we experience a big number of problems. Yes, we're all scary, and we don't know how it's gonna end, etc. But this thing allowed us to feel life a little bit differently, with a different attitude. And now people, they are no longer dealing with things we don't want to have in our life. And I think that our life and our interaction with partners, it should be also organized in this way. On one hand, we really want to make a difference. We want to work with the current context, but it's not that easy. So search for your partners, and sometimes, I mean, things that you are interested in, it's not always the case for people around you. And we really wanted to, several years ago, like 20 years ago, just raise your hands, those who 20 years ago joined this MLM business.
There are lots of you, cool, and who came 10 years ago, and who is here for the first year? Who is just the beginner? Cool, there are so many of you, great. So see, you have incredible thing. You don't have experience. So the more actions you make now, the more new experience you will have. And it's harder for the newcomers, and we can use our experience. And we are going to talk about the point that people come to MLM. I will tell you terrible things. Forgive me, Sergei Sergeyevich. People come not to the company. People come not for a product. People come for the sake of relations. And the paradox consists in the fact that they leave for the same reason. Did I guess? Great. So make it so that your brand, APL, would really be the opportunity that people would want to make with you. For 10, 15 years, and they would say, first of all, conscious. And your task is to make that people should feel cool with you, should be interested to deal with you. And when you finalize your training or your vision, people would think, when is the next part? When is the next part? You, being leaders, should be interesting to your team. That's true. So, economy of our life, super mega changed. 4 important, well, how to put it, factors. First of all, that is related to economy of influence. If you do not influence yourself, if you do not make any steps towards your business. When I came to APL, I remember the webinar. Seems like it was a webinar. Well, qualification of ambassador is the simplest qualification. Well, I was kind of frozen. And I thought, why is it so easy? It is so easy that it's really easy. It's easy, but we don't do this. We do not make ourselves closer to success. Why? I'm going to tell you a little bit later. It can be explained, believe me. However, the center of the market is really great. I have shown the figure of the Ukraine yesterday. I am firmly convinced that we are quite few in the world. We are quite few in the world, and that is why we should make an influence every week, every month, every year. Economy of influence. Well, you remember the advertisement that were in 2000s on Tuesday when Claudia Schiffer was just moving her hair with the Head and Shoulders shampoo, plus minus $2 cost, and we believed. Well, whom this advertisement impacted? And when we had Christmas, a beautiful Santa Claus was wearing something beautiful, and we realized that New Year will be soon. Who was the victim of advertisement? Oh, great. Raise your hand who used different advertisements. Cool. And now, who is watching TV? Me too, I do not watch TV. But now, there are blogger influencers, and you know, my son is 13 years old, and I told you this story. I really like this. In Kharkov in June we had transformation, incredible event, international event. We had so many leaders from Germany, from Moldova. It was really great. And I sent to my 13 years old son a photo of me standing on the stage, and in front of me so many people, and they are shooting me. You know, it's such a picture, for me very important. He writes to me, Mom, I don't know, actually I would recommend you to arrange like 20,000 of youngsters. And you know, these 13-year-old youngsters who, well, you seem to work to make your career, and they say, what's so special about this? 200 people are listening to you, that's so few. Yes, because now they do not feel the audience. They live in the world when they can do everything. They really live in the world when in 20 years old you can all earn millions, and they ask yourself a question, what have you reached by now? For them, career is not a value now. They have totally different values, but still they have these values. Why am I saying this? If you have fans of business and fans of the product, they can really become the voice of your business. In our business, of course, people are not always young, but if they are there, use them, show them, tell them the results. Do not treat about the products and show this admiration. You cannot make successful business with sad voice. So I'd like to repeat myself. Everything starts with us. The third is economy of transformation. And once we started talking about brands and actually about changes, if this does not change what we make, if what we do does not make changes in lives of the people, why do we have to do this? Why do we do this at all? If this will not be useful for anyone, if we do not believe what we do, if we do not believe that we will close qualification of managing director, And if we do not believe that one day we'll become a cooperative and that way to diamond will be stretched for 5 years, then why do we need all this? Why, standing on the stage, we tell to sponsor, I promise, I swear? Why? And that we do not do this. So ask yourself this question. How, well, what about tomorrow? How today I became better than I was yesterday? So today, this is more or less more than 10,000 speeches that I've made at the stage, more than that. Well, I'm really worried. I do not know how people react. Once you just tell something and you leave and you don't think, what have you said? Here is the thing. And what I'm talking about, you should study your competitors, what they do, study your partner. In the art, in art there is such a notion how to develop good taste. There is a very important notion. Do you know? It is called experience in seeing. You watch beautiful things. Find people who you like in business, sign up for them, see what they do, and start doing the same. You will not be able to cope, but you will do what you like. And then you'll be able to search for your own brand. And that is incredibly interesting. Not easy. I already told you there are no good news. And the last thing, economy of impressions. If people, after meeting you, have no this wow effect, you didn't touch their heart. On the other hand, not everyone likes me. On the other hand, I definitely find in business, in life, I can find my people, those who are truly mine. I know that they will not leave me, that I can trust them. Do you feel the same with the partners? I think you feel the same. You always know people whom you can rely on. And actually, to control organization as Evgeny Novikov. Is it possible for one person? No. But she's searching for her people, and people react to us. Only those people react to us who just feel that it is close to them. That is why I call you to search for your people. Not to make business for a sponsor, make business for yourself. Between 99% and 100%, this 1% can be decisive for your life. Could you help me, please? So here is the reason of why we do not reach ambassador within a very short period of time. Of course, time matters. But we are all people, and it's okay that we have some fears. I called it fears, but that is something that really develops us. And I can tell you about the guys who just had the floor. We could see that they are a little bit worried. But that is such a great and cool step forward, because they have made it. Because next time they will make it better than during the first time. They will be braver, or maybe they will feel even more scared, but with bigger probability they will come to stage. Cool, applause to them. It was really incredible. Well, so when I enumerate fears, you can get to know your fears. This is the fear to start. Oh my God, what people will think about it. Why MLM again? Oh my God. I will not deal with this. They're so cool in the first line. And what about me? And did you get to know yourself? We all have this. In different spheres we feel this. And the second fear is the fear to continue. When you reach some success, and qualification of corporate director, national director, and you see this carrot that you are oriented on, but actually you understand that you have to move on to a totally different level, that what you've done before that, just calls, just signing, is not enough. You already have a team, you should give something bigger. And again, you get back to, oh my God, I will not do this, I will not go with this, they're so cool, and so on and so forth. The third fear is the fear which is called the fear of failure. To start doing it or not start doing this. We're afraid of starting any business. And I should tell you that this is so cool that we have an American team with us. A team from America. Please applaud to us. Applaud to Team of America. And the leaders will also make a training. I admire this nation. Well, I admire lots of things about these nations, but as to sales, they are better than the best in the world. Any American can sell him or herself. Selling is something about them. We are not that much businessmen. Business was born in 1991 when everything collapsed here. And to put it short, think, oh my God, this is even better than advertisement of a Coca-Cola, by the way. So, when everything collapsed, we started understanding that we should have businessmen. We got entrepreneurs, and then MLM industry as well. So now, in this industry, we do not only make kind of business, we get a profession. Ella, with an absolutely sexy voice that is real admiration, well, soon will be with you. And we will compete with artificial intelligence soon. But if you train your skills, you will not have any competitors. You will definitely have no competitors. And this fear of failure disappears when you do a lot of actions. Many actions in your business. The fourth fear is the fear of public speeches. I actually believe that in this business we should know how to talk. I'll get back to Americans. They do it incredibly because they have the system of education which presupposes that they speak a lot in front of people. Our system of education is just starting, given an opportunity. Before that, well, sit down. We have poor, and now we have lots of opportunities. So use your social networks, your partners, Zooms, so that to talk without any assessments. Just imagine that this is your training field. Training field. You train with cats, with the mirror, with the relatives, whoever you do not care about. And then move on to social networks, because if you go immediately to these social networks, there will be risks. But you should start. Start right away. The fifth thing I'm going to tell you, well, the first alliance definitely know about this. This is the thing which is not fear, but this is a terrible thing which is called outburning. Oh, when we have a target and we are striving for that. Well, we don't sleep in the nights, we sleep 1-2 hours, and burning out is reality. Now, this is such a thing which almost every day modern person comes face to face, and that is why we have a new product, Happy, which will really help you to recover. By the way, I got this pill, thank you, very delicious. That is why I'm so calm today at the stage, because I'm after Happy. So, another thing that I will tell you, so we are already friends, right? We are already friends, aren't we? Thank you. But not all of you wants to make friends with me. Well, thank you. So, now I'm going to tell you the following thing. And being friends, raise your hands. The thing is called great. I will even start it. This is the syndrome of delayed life, of deferred life. This is a kind of, I'll go to the concert when I have a new dress. Or we have opened Africa. I'll start learning English on Monday, because according to the horoscope, it says that it's a good day. Or I'll go to a swimming pool when it's warm, because now this is totally unsuitable condition for this. Or I will prepare my purposes later. Raise your hand, whoever. I'm not always about business. Well, some usual routine things. Yesterday I communicated with Alexander, who told me about how cool cosmetics is sold in Germany. I was thinking, oh, why is it not the same in Ukraine? What should we do? And, you know, maybe you raise your hands who, dear ladies, a question to you, who spends $200 on your creams, cosmetologists? Please raise your hand. Oops. See? Everything starts with yourself. Love yourself, dear ladies. The syndrome of deferred life makes you farther from simple happiness that we can really get on everyday basis. And happiness consists of small things. And the last thing that I should tell you, the seventh thing, I hope that you have never faced with this, but you've heard about this. So this is the syndrome of somebody else. When I just study, but I feel that I am not good enough. Well, no, I'm not ready. Actually, Google this thing. I could have told a lot about it, but many people in the planet, 80% of people suffer from this syndrome of pretending to be somebody else. We cannot be good enough, but we can really be absolutely real. These are the people whom you will face in business. They are divided into three categories. The first one is dreamer, and this is a big guy who is dreaming, and the dreamers are super incredible. As to our leaders, well, they often deceive us. They say, okay, I swear, put your targets down. I dream about Seychelles, about the team, and they are not doing this. Work with them in a very constructive way. What we'll do tomorrow, what targets do you have? This is all about imposter syndrome. And a simple question, open your back office. What about your activity? What about the signings? What about calls? What is happening actually? And this is the way dreamers come to the second category, which is called beginners. So these are people who are doing and doing and doing, and they grow their experience. If you really understood what you should do in your business, and you are doing it by small steps or big steps, your experience should be translated to someone. You should duplicate it in our business. This is really something sacred. This is really important. Start repeating after a person that you like. Start repeating his or her success. Sponsor, or maybe not a sponsor, maybe somebody else, but definitely you like this person. We must do things that we like in business, because if we do not like the things in our business, then we'll die out of dullness. And I would like to repeat myself. Happy business and successful business cannot be arranged with a sad face, unfortunately. And the third thing, the team of activists. These are the people who have result. And sometimes you do not have to tell them anything. Calling their names, we understand who they are and what they are. Dear partners, please give a round of applause to these first two rows of the tables, because these people already made a brand of the company, APL company, and they carry these two masses.
And believe me that the story of everyone there started with that very last row, right? Right, yes, it was the case. And probably it started with a dream. But no longer live your dreams. You'd better start living the life that you actually want to have.